Hey everybody. Alright, so I'm sorry, but I did not realize that my camera died on me. And so I ended up finishing this little fella. And you guys missed it all. I rocked. Sorry. I'm going to show you, and I also did this one, and I did this one. So I'm going to try and show you on this fella here. I just want to make sure I'm staying in camera here. Now, I went over using this. So what I'm going to do now is just kind of show you on some fussy cutting with scissors. Now these are a very fine point. See if you can see that. I hope it's a very, very, very fine point. These are perfect. The only thing is they're very tiny, and it makes my, it hurts my fingers after a while. I'm just going to get in here and start while we're talking. When I start doing fussy cutting with scissors, it's easier to get it down to the smallest, and I don't know if I want to use those, or so I'm just going to get them off of here, to get it down to the smallest piece. I'm going to work on the dog. So, we're going to, you're going to hold the scissors in the exact same spot that, continuously. And when you open it up, you're actually pushing it forward, so you keep the blade on the exact same spot that you are cutting in. You don't move the scissors off of the paper. Then when I'm getting here, when I'm getting to this point and I can't see how much further I need to turn, sometimes I do move my scissors. So I can see that I am down into the nip of the bottom fold of that tail all the way. So I put my scissors back in. I find the last part that I cut, put my scissors back in there, move the paper around, and start cutting again. And so I get towards the end. I don't go all the way to the end, and I open my scissors up and push forward. And that way it keeps the same cut line, and you're not starting a different cut line. Now, as you get, a lot of people will take their scissors when they get here and they'll clip it and just let it close all the way. That kind of tears the paper at the end when the scissors go. So you really don't want to do that. You want to, and when you get little ends like this, you can cut those off. You want to, again, I put my scissors right up to the cut line and I start cutting again. And I'm going to get, and you see how I'm turning this, and I can see there's still white there. There's still white. There's still there's the line where the ear is, and there's white behind that. So I know I haven't gone up far enough. So I'm squeezing a little bit more, turning, and I'm almost right there. So I give it a little bit more squeeze, holding my scissors, and turning and cutting again. Okay, and just flip that around, and then that I'm just going to cut off. And so we're going to start it again. We line the edge of the scissors up with the black on the line of the ear, and we're just going to follow this around. Again, I can hold my scissors on my cut line and move it. I don't pull the scissors out of where I'm cutting until I get to an end. And it just makes for a very smooth cut. Now here with the whiskers and his little nose, I'm going to go off a little bit and get those whiskers, come back in till I get to the tongue, and come around. So I got a little bit of the whiskers, and then what I can do is, I said I don't want to cut that tongue off. Now when you're going around a corner, and this one's a little small to worry about, but when you're going around a corner, you're cutting at the same time you're turning, and if you overshoot it like I did here, I overshot the tongue. I should have my scissors here at the line, but instead I've got them here. Oops, sorry. And all that is overshooting it is where you're closing your scissors and turning. You're not turning fast enough for the speed that you're closing the scissors on. Let me get back in there. So you want to close your scissors and turn at the right speed. And you get better and better at that as you go along. I'm going to reposition that right at the line where I want to start cutting again. And again, I'm holding onto my paper and I'm seeing where I'm going to come back out and get his lower lip. And I'm making sure I'm staying in line here. So I'm coming around here, I'm holding onto the paper, and I'm twirling around. And now is where, see, I've overshot it. So I'm going to go back, catch that paper in there again, and my fingers are starting to get sore in these scissors now. Okay, so now I'm at the edge. I'm slightly cutting and turning. And it's just getting that rhythm. Just getting a rhythm. Getting used to holding on to the paper with your scissors. This is not an incredibly hard piece to do with scissors. And a lot of times with these pieces, I do still use the scissors. But I'm getting so used to using the Fisker's finger, and I still didn't look up that product name. You would think I'd get smart in my old age, but I'm not. Okay, so we're going to cut, and we're going to turn, and we're going to come back, and get his wee little bum, and there we go. Ah, see, look at that, it does to my finger. Okay, so here is our little pup. And he's quite cute. There is a spot right here that I'm going to get out. And I would never attempt this with scissors. And I'm just going to, again, you just need to point. You just need to kind of keep it up a little higher. You don't need to push. So if you push far into this, you got to fight through that plastic. And that's when you're going to have it jump, because then you're going to push in hard and you're going to pull, and then you're going to stop pushing so hard and it's going to jump up and just float across the top, and that's when you're going to cut your paper. So you just get your point in there. Remember, this paper is not thick. It's not like you're trying to cut chipboard or anything with it. And then let's see where we're sitting with this. Kind of use that push back, grab it from a bit back and pull. Just going to get that little piece pulled off of there. So it wasn't much of a big piece, but what the difference is going to make when you do your fussy, let's see, when you have it, like if you have it on a darker sheet of paper, see, you can see that black in there. You can also see my dog's hair. I don't charge extra for that. Okay, so now what I do is, now, when you're doing, what you're doing is edging around. Everybody knows that most of this paper is white core. It's colored on one side, colored on the other, but it's basically originally white paper. So the center of it's white. So what I do, this is a Tim Holtz Distress Marker, and I like the brush tip. I also have used the Stampin' Up, Stampin' Right colors. I have not used my Copics for this. I suppose you could, but I haven't. But you always want the image that you're interested in putting out away from the pen. And I'll show you why. I'm doing this, and if I screw up, I'm doing this and it slides off, well, I'm writing on the back side. I don't now have an ink pen going across my front. Okay, so don't be tempted to do that. Just always keep it, keep that image away from you, because as soon as you just for a moment, take that little time to, I'll just this one last little bit, it won't make any difference. I'll be fine. That's when I write all over my stuff. Oh, okay. And I always stick, these little spots. I want to get those done too. There's another time I've written on things. On the little creases and crevices, I get down to the tip of my pen. And then on the larger pieces, I go up closer in on the nib. Okay, so we get this done. And you're going to want to make sure you let that dry a little bit. But if you can see how adding that black has just sharpened him up. And it's made him a little more interesting. Let's see, did I get the inside of that tail? I did not. So now look at the tail. And let me get... I know I'm breaking my own rule. And now it's got a little bit more of a detail. It makes it pop out of the page more. It just makes it pop. I'm trying to make sure I get it where you guys can see it. Okay, so that's what you do there. That's scissor cutting. And that's cutting with the Fiskars finger thing. Sorry. It's just bad. Okay. So this is another thing that I had done on the other video. Again, just using this and cutting out. When you come to little pieces like this, that if you were to cut in to that line, it would just fall off. I then take the paint, the pen tip, and I make myself a little bit of a stem. And nobody knows, nobody's the wiser. And I could just darken that one up a little bit too. This one I will be cutting out more, but then it kind of, and it's just going to make it pop. It's just going to make it do that much more of a pop. Okay, so this is dried pretty well. Now I'm going to use Claudine Helmuth Studio Multimedium, and this is the matte finish. So this is flat, like flat paint. I hope that you're getting this well. It's not very, there we go. Okay, I just have to hold it still long enough. And then this one is a gloss, And I'm sorry there's a glare. I am trying to work on that a little bit, but hopefully for the cutting and stuff you're seeing very well. And what I do with these, now there's sometimes that I like using the gloss. This, however, is not one of those times. I like using the multi-matte, the multi-medium matte finish. So what I do is I take my image and I get a little bit of the multi-matte on my finger. Let's get a little bit there. And separate it between my finger and my thumb. And I just rub it on. Just give it a rub. And I got this tip from, I think on the first video I gave you her website or YouTube tutorial site. It's Xanna, ANNERO1. I want to make sure that little spot down in there got full of ink, of medium. So, okay, so I've got him, and usually what I do is I stand him up on something. I just set him like that and stand him up on the edge of my my little, anything, my paintbrush, paint tub or something like that. So, and this stuff just wipes off with a cloth pretty easily. Okay, so that is cutting with scissors, cutting with the finger X-Acto knife from Fiskars. How to choose your scissors, again, when they have the tiny little points and are thinner blades. Embroidery scissors, if you can find a really good pair of embroidery scissors with a really nice sharp point. Now, most of the time they are, they're larger than this, and they're shaped kind of like this. But, any of those are going to make very good scissors. But I do recommend try this. See how you like it. And take a little practice with it. Just be careful because it is very sharp. Just remember that when you're cutting, make sure you can see, you want to hold it as close to that, almost straight up and down, not quite, but you don't want to hold it like you're holding a pencil and go in it this way because you end up cutting too much into the mat. Hold it like this, go across. I'm hoping you can see this. Hold it like this and go across almost straight up and down or close to it. And don't push in very hard. This is very thin paper. If you have very, very thin paper, you can use this first. Let it dry completely, which takes about 20 minutes, and then you can cut it. It does make it a little more difficult to cut, but it's going to make the paper a little thicker so that it won't tear as easily. And if it's really, really thin paper, like I'm calling designer Sears paper, very thin paper, I actually do not use these because if you tend to catch it just right, it will just rip it. So I do scissors with that, although I don't cut that thin stuff out that often. I hope you got a lot out of this. I certainly enjoyed bringing it to you. And I still haven't found my little paper that has my little address on it. So, oh, look, here it is right here. So, make sure it's all in there. This is Lisa at happyplacecreations@gmail.com or Happy Place Creations on YouTube. I hope you watch these, like me, subscribe to me. I'm trying to get a lot of these videos done. I have lots of plans on doing them, so I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you get a lot of time to get to your happy place and craft. Thanks. Bye.